Hey there, I'm Chris Nicholas. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is going to not only enhance your welding skills, but also elevate your craftsmanship. We're going to build a little welding table, so let's dive right into it. This project doesn't need to be fancy, but the two things that you probably won't have laying around at home is you want a 1/4-inch piece of plate steel. I managed to get this off Amazon. It's 16 inches by 16 inches. It's built for pizza actually, already has a nice round edge on it, and a toggle clamp, a hold down toggle clamp. And be sure to stick around to the end of this video. I have two very helpful tips that I know will help you out.
So I started out with two 2x4s at a length of 14 inches and one 4x4 cut to a length of 11 inches. I then marked where I wanted to be able to drill my holes so that I could screw the wooden legs to the metal plate. I went 1.5 inches in on both sides where my legs were going to be so I could have an inch overhang. Also mark a couple places where you would like to have a hole drilled so your heat gun can have a holder. Use a center punch to mark your holes. This way your drill bit will go precisely where you place it. Use a drill bit that's just slightly larger than the screw you'll be using to attach the legs to the table. Use a 13/32 drill bit so that you can drill a hole to have a holder for your heat gun. Then countersink all your holes. This way your screws will sit flush with the table. Mark and drill some holes for your toggle clamp. I have found that having the toggle clamp on the welding table is incredibly handy. It acts as a third hand to hold the cuff in place or your fingers while you're doing your welding. When you no longer need the material clamped, you simply release it and you can continue your workflow. I chose to drill and tap the holes for my toggle clamp, but you could just drill a hole and screw it into the 2x4 underneath the plate. Using a couple clamps to hold the 2x4s to the metal plate sure made it easy screwing them together. Use a small drill bit to make some pilot holes for your screw and then screw it together. I was wanting to also be able to add this table to a vise, so I add the 4x4 to give the legs on the sides some more structural integrity. If you don't plan on using your table in a vise, you don't need this middle piece added in. You can now screw in your hold down toggle clamp. Another variation is if you have a welder. I made a welding table that fits into the hardy hole of my anvil, and I love this table.
So here's the last two helpful tips. Have you ever been welding on a surface, and while you've been welding, you've gone to remove the shoe and the cuff or the fingers have stuck to the surface and you've pulled your weld apart? So here's what I've done to create a clean surface and make my welding really fast and efficient. The first thing that I've done is I'm using a stripping disc, and I've removed all the oxidation on my plate. And the last trick is using a release agent. When you have melted plastic against the surface and it sticks on it and you move your shoe and it wants to pull apart a little bit, what this does is weakens your weld. So what I do is I spray a release agent, and it reduces the surface tension on your table, so when you have melted material against it, it doesn't stick to it. This allows my welds to stay really firmly in place, allows me to be quick and efficient with my welds, and just general craftsmanship using the release agent has been a really helpful tip that I've discovered. So thanks for tuning into my channel. If you've made it this far, please hit the subscribe button. Thumbs up for a like. Have an awesome day. Cheerio.